All right, you guys, I'm back with compound inequalities. So the first video, there was only an example that had the word and in it. This video, I'm going to talk about what happens when or is in the problem. All right, great thing, those first steps don't change, okay? I'm going to solve each individual problem. So in order to get n by itself here, I'm going to subtract 5. So I get n less than or equal to 1. Here I'm going to divide by -3. Now, make sure you remember when you divide by a negative, you flip the inequality. So n greater than or equal to positive 10. Okay, that only happens when you divide by a negative. So divide by a negative, flip. All right, so then I'm done solving. So I would put or, and I would circle my final answer. Okay. Now, there is no alternate versions to presenting this answer. You write the word or and you circle it. Okay, so not like and, where I had two different ways in which I could write my final answer. That is not true for or. You're done. All right, now we need to graph. So we've done the solve step. Now we need to graph. So I'm going to put 1 here, and then I'm going to put 10 here. All right, so it says n is less than or equal to 1. So from our last video, we established that a less than sign, less than or equal to, had a closed circle. And then less than means I shade left. And then greater than or equal to, closed circle. And if it's greater than, I shade to the right. So that's how my picture looks. So I've solved it and I have graphed it. Okay? So that's it. So really the only thing I've done different here is my picture changed. If you remember from the last video, I was shading in between, okay, but now I'm shading towards the outside, okay? And there's a relationship between and or, okay? And you shade in between or you shade outward. All right, so let's do another example and then I'll write that down so you have that as a reference, okay? All right, let me move here and get another problem. Let's find an or. There we go. So 5r plus 8 less than or equal to -37, or -5r minus 6 less than or equal to -41. Okay? All right, so I'm going to jump right in and solve each of them on their own. So to get 5r by itself, I'm going to subtract 8. So that gives me 5r less than or equal to -45. I'm going to divide by 5. So that gives me r less than or equal to -9. I did not flip my inequality, okay? I didn't do that because I didn't divide by a negative number. I divided by +5. I'll have some students say, well, but -45 is negative. So, okay? I mean, that's really what it is. So, it's what you're dividing by. If you divide by a negative number, you flip the inequality. It does not matter what value here. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Okay? All right. So that's one of my answers. Now let's get the second answer. So to get -5r, I'm going to add 6. So I get -5r less than or equal to -35. Now look here, I'm dividing by -5. So yes, I'm flipping the inequality. R greater than or equal to 7. Okay? I'm going to write the word or, and I'm going to circle, box, whatever you want to do. There's my final answer. I don't write anything else. Okay? So I've done the first part. So solve each compound inequality and graph its solution. So now let's graph. So I'm going to put -9 over here. I'm going to put 7 over here. So r less than or equal to -9. That's a closed circle. shade to the left, greater than or equal to 7, that is a closed circle, shade to the right. Okay? If you look here, I've got the same thing. You're welcome to draw it right directly on your number line like they do here in infinite algebra. I just do it above because I find I get messy. Okay? All right, so let's make a connection there. So if you have and in your problem, you will shade, doesn't matter if it's open or closed, but you will shade in between. If you have or in your problem, let me make that better number line. Okay, again, doesn't matter what's here. It can be any combination of open and closed. You will shade this way. Okay, it works every time, I promise. Okay, all right, I'm going to come back with one additional video with maybe 2 examples of just one different type of problem that you might be presented with, and I want to make sure you know how to solve it. Okay? If you have questions, you know how to reach me. Good luck.